Lifestyle child of God. What's going on? Peace to the fam. How y'all doing out there? Skin looking rough, man. I got my facial hair growing in, so looks kind of rough. I need to shave a little bit. Anywho, I just finished watching Anton Daniels After Hours. This is his other channel. I just finished watching After Hours with Anton Daniels, and in the particular episode, they were talking about they were doing commentary, as a lot of people do. They were doing commentary on somebody else's content, and they had some they called him a light skinned dude, but I don't know if he was actually a light skinned biracial dude. It's hot today. It was hot yesterday, but it's hot today. Now I don't know if he was actually, they kept saying he was light skinned and he was giving off light skinned energy. But the young gentleman was saying that he's not into providing for a woman and that it's not in his genetical makeup, like, to provide for a woman and all that, he was saying. And, he gave his reasons and, about modern society and all that type jazz. Um, and then I got to listen to a lot of the women and what they had to say in reference to the commentary, right? The women went first. And, some of the women, like I said, they were saying that the women, being that they were on the panel of Anton's, his nightcap, his after hours, right? It was 3 women, but it was 2 in particular that were saying things that I was just like, so I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. So the first young lady was like, "Oh, he's giving me light skin energy, and only a light skinned nigga would say something like this and that and such and such." And I disagree with that for sure. I think that what the gentleman doesn't understand when it comes to women, AS Gaming. What's up, AS Gaming? I think what the gentleman doesn't understand when it comes to women is that a man provides for a woman that he's generally interested in and that there's mutual interest in him. And, he might already be providing for himself. He might already have everything situated, right? But if he does, a woman will notice that and she'll try to attach herself to him, right? She'll tether on to him, right? But a man who really loves a woman will provide for her. Like, he'll go above and beyond. That's very true. And some of the women, I think that's what they were trying to get across, right? So I agree with that circumstance. I think that the gentleman, he just doesn't understand or hasn't met a woman that he loved enough that he doesn't even think about doing everything, but he does everything. Sometimes that's how it happens. But he did make strong points in reference to not wanting to provide for a woman in 2025. He made some strong points. One of those points he made is just that he doesn't have it in his genetics to to want to provide for a woman, right? So that's why I'm like, I don't think he fell in love with a woman before, or he ain't never really been in love, or really actually there was a woman that he wanted, did everything, you know what I mean? But he was basically wasn't in his genetic line. And so the women got up there commenting like, yeah, let his genetic line die off. And that's why I had an issue with it. I had an issue with that. You know what I mean? Because this is the thing, like, that's a real thing. Like, the women are controlling that aspect of procreation. You know what I mean? If you don't see, basically, what the premise was after a couple of the panelists got to talking, is that one of the gentlemen, I think his name was 2K. He made sense. He said women are pimping men, and men don't understand that or recognize it. And I agree with that person. Like, women have been pimping men. Look, I've said this before. We built this world for women. It was built for their convenience. It was built so that they don't have to work as hard or whatever. This was built based on convenience, and it was built for women. There were wars that were fought over women, right? Historically. So like I've said before, the women are the Illuminati, dog. Like, if you don't, like the man said, you're getting pimped by women. Like, if you don't recognize that as a man, like, and hold your strength. The Bible teaches us as a man to hold your strength, not to give your strength to a woman. And there's many aspects of strength, right? But you're not supposed to give your strength to a woman. Part of that being your wealth. You know what I mean? Part of that being your wisdom. Part of that being your time. A lot of different things go into strength. But these women, when the girls kept saying, I don't want to call them girls, they're women. These are grown women. When the women kept saying that, I hope women just don't procreate with this gentleman and that his bloodline could just die off and that the world would be a better place. See, herein lies, that's where I have my issue, because I'm just like, whoa. He did not make a good point. A lot of men, and that's why when Kevin Samuels was alive and he was booming, meaning his views was up, everybody was watching him, including women, every night. You know what I mean? Including the women every night. I don't care what nationality the woman you was watching Kevin Samuels, dog. But the thing about it is like, this is why Kevin Samuels blew up, because most men started saying to themselves, like, yo, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? Why are we taking care of everything? We're slaving over everything. We die first. Women live longer. We're doing everything. We do everything for a woman, and she doesn't really have to do anything. And not only that, she's allowed to go in the workforce and compete with me for competitive pay. And then I have to compete with her over the same type of jobs, yet she wants me to be this and that. When it comes to providing, she wants me to be everything, right? So wait, there's got to be a balance. It can't be both. And we generation I came up in, the millennials, us millennials, we came up in a generation where it's not, it's very difficult. It's rather difficult to support yourself with just being one person in a household, right? And meaning that men and women have to work. As a millennial, I've seen women and men work. Everybody get up and go to work. It ain't just one person sitting at the house. Some women have that luxury, but a lot of them, from what I'm noticing, are like from the old school, right? They coming from out of the old school. Hold on, fam. Ma'am, can I get one? Okay. But yeah, so that a lot of them are in the old school. A lot of those women that sit at home and absorb the luxury of their husband being able to that he goes to work and does everything. That's a lot of them I seen in old school. Not to say that it's not in the new school, but a lot of them I see in the old school. Like I said, if you're a millennial, you grew up pretty much seeing your parents, both of them, go to work. You know what I mean? Or your aunts or your uncles or whoever. You've seen most of your family go to work, including the women. And so women go to work, dog. You know what I mean? And women have their own ambitions, and women have their own money, right? So it's a little, so this is to the women on that platform, like it's a little, for lack of a better phrase, it's a little old school for y'all to be thinking that that y'all have the right to cut off bloodlines Just because a man don't want to solely provide for you, and women are out here solely providing for themselves, going to get it. Are you hearing me? It's women out here going to get it. They going to get the bag. And it doesn't have to be illegitimate. There's a lot of women out here that have their own businesses that are successful. They're corporatized and they're successful. They're privatized and they're successful, et cetera, et cetera. Like, a lot of women don't really want to sit at home and just nurse kids all day. Like, for real, a lot of women don't like that, right? They start having kids and they realize, like, damn it, I made a mistake. like, damn it, I can't get away from these little brats. All they do is tether and attach themselves to me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, a lot of women realize that once they have kids, you know, they love their kids, but at the same time, it's like, I could have just lived my life, you know? So I think that to those women, they were saying that, and I'm sure that they were just playing, kind of. But to those women that was saying, like, yeah, we just going to erase your bloodline and all that. See, that's what we have. We have to have a sit down, right? This has to be sat down, because y'all should not have that much power. And I know y'all are gonna say, but this is my cat. You know what I mean? And shit like that. Okay, you're right. But this the thing, dear. We're supposed to procreate. And the more y'all focus in, see what y'all are doing really, it's like extinction, low key. Like, you know, women are participating in mass extinction. Basically meaning that by not procreating or mating or finding the partner, you know what I mean? Or choosing to make a man suffer, right? You're participating in the extinction of the human race. There's already scientific studies out there that say that we need to procreate more, or we will be extinct. We will go out of pop culture, right? We're gonna eviscerate ourselves out of living. You know what I mean? We're supposed to procreate. Nothing against homosexuality for women or men. Nothing against it. You know, that's y'all thing. That's your thing. But you know, you're not able to procreate when you do that. Yeah, you can get artificial insemination. You could have somebody get you pregnant, or you could adopt a child, but you'll never ever be able to create one. Obviously. But that's what the Most High God created the world for. And so 2K on the After Hours Anton Daniels show, he mentioned a lot of that. And he was making a lot of good sense in reference to the subject title, which, you know, was based off of this guy's commentary that he doesn't have it in him to provide for a woman. And I just think that he just ain't met the right woman. You ain't smelt the right woman, my brother. You know, you smell the right woman. You smell the right woman, you get around the right woman, you'll just provide. It won't even be something that you think about. It'll just be something that you just do. You feel what I'm saying? You'll just be like, yeah, I'm providing. You know, cause I feel it in my heart, in my mindset. He just ain't met the right one. But I don't like that the women on the show were like, yeah, we just cut you out of lineage. And that shit's crazy. That shit is New World Order type shit. You know what I mean? That's some shit. Like, that's New World Order type shit. Invoking and controlling and invoking, controlling, what am I trying to get at word wise? But anyways, invoking and promoting, right, amongst other women, that we should just kill men by killing off their bloodline, by not mating with them, because one, they won't be obedient to us and do whatever we say. They're unpimpable. Basically, is what 2K was saying, right? They're unpimpable. That's women don't like a man that she can't control. You know what I mean? Women don't like a man that she cannot control. And if a woman can't control you, if there's not a woman that can control this man, then he has to be deleted from the face of this earth in her mindset. You know, and that's kind of what these women were saying, you know what I mean, on his show. Now, there was one that didn't really say anything, but she was giggling and laughing. Um, hey, buddy. But there were two that were adamant that, like, yeah, we gotta get rid of him. And then, you know, they if this is a part of that feminist movement, yeah, we can't have that. We can't have a feminist movement. We got to get rid of that because it's supposed to be a humanitarian movement where it's humanity. It's about us taking our race and our humanity to the next generations and beyond. But I just had to say, like, that's Illuminati talk. That women were talking about on his show after I was with Anton Daniels. That's that Illuminati talk. I mean, we'll erase his bloodline, and we're gonna promote to all the women, don't breed with him, right? Don't have his children, even though a lot of the time women get married anyways to men that they're not in love with. Even if they do procreate, and I talked about this before. Even if they do procreate with you, that doesn't mean that they love you. That's why you see a lot of infidelities too. Women leaving the house. I was just watching a man, he had gotten, or this woman and man, they were supposed to get married, but they're from like Persia, Arabic type thing. A man and a woman, they were supposed to get married, right? Come to find out, he met this girl at a gas station. He should have known better, meeting a girl at a gas station. But anyways, he met the girl at the gas station. Girl ended up meeting another dude at another gas station. So she dated this dude for a long time, but she also, in the midst of them dating, and I think they were engaged at the time, he was on like vacation. Now he works a lot. This dude works a lot, right? And so basically, while he was at work and overseas working, she was driving his car. And so she let the new dude who she met at a gas station, I like your dog. She let the new dude drive his car while he was overseas working. So come to find out, his friends, because he got good friends. That's how you know you got real friends. But his friends, they caught the dude, unintentionally, they caught the dude driving his car, right? And so they pulled up on him and started asking dude questions like, yo, so what's up with you in my man's car? And he's like, what? You know, I'm fucking this girl and she told me this is her car, and good morning. She told me this was her car, and you know what I mean? So I'm driving it because I didn't know that this was her future husband's car, right? And so these are dude's friends that's overseas that he's working, right? So they basically get him on the team, right? And he basically gives up the whole chat, everything that they were talking about, him and the girl. So they're at their marriage dinner or pre-dinner thing, and he completely exposes his potential future wife and everything that she did, right? And his boys were there and everything that helped him figure this out. And it was mad interesting because it was like, yo, this is why men are turning away from women, because women have too much power, dog. And we gave it to them. We gave women too much power. We allow them to move in the way that they're moving right now. But we don't correct them. But also, women don't correct each other. Old and young, they're all on code with each other, from what I can tell. That doesn't make any of them worse or badder or gooder or anything like that. It's just that they on code with each other. And when women are on code with each other, it's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing, especially when they're on code with feminism. You know what I mean? Because feminism basically is the deaf men. But that's what I felt like these women were promoting when they got to talking about, oh, we don't need to, hopefully other women don't procreate with this gentleman. Hopefully other women don't try to extend his bloodline. Good morning. Um, and that's what you don't want to, hold up. It's a dangerous thing what women are doing, and I just didn't like what they said. That's why I got up here and commentated. Now, like I say in the beginning, I don't think the brother that they originally were talking about with his commentary, I don't think he's ever been in love before, right? I don't think he actually really ever felt the need to want to provide for a woman or has dealt with a grown woman before. When you deal with a grown woman, it's something different about her. She make you wanna provide for her. Like just the feeling. I mean, when you're dealing with a real woman, especially a real grown woman who does for herself, but also is beautiful, right? And you dealing with her, she give you some of that cat. Like, you wake up in the morning like, yeah, I gotta go provide for my kitty. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't think that he ever been in love or had a woman that made him feel like, let me get up this morning and go provide for this cat. You feel what I'm saying? He ain't never had one like that. The dude that they were listening to his commentary. But it's not right for women to do what they're doing if that's what's going on. Like, we shouldn't be, as women, y'all shouldn't be trying to eradicate men by not procreating with them and letting them die off by bloodline. Like, that's crazy. That's goddamn, I'm trying to figure out what that is word-wise. But, only thing I can think of is that's extinction. Like, we as men and women are supposed to procreate. You know what I mean? And every child don't come out. You're supposed to, the Bible tells us to lead a child in which way they should go, right? So you're supposed to educate your child on which way to go, right? And that's why I feel like a lot of parents need to be held accountable. Because a lot of parents don't even really raise their kids and they're not showing their kids which way they ought to go, right? And then you have all these misfunctions in children that grow into adults, right? But we got to think about that gentleman. Like, that gentleman, who was he raised by? How was he raised? Did he have a single mother? Did he have a single father? Did he see divorce in his family? Is that what's advocating for him to feel the way that he feels and that he doesn't see himself providing for a woman? You know what I mean? And I definitely see myself providing. I've always seen myself providing. Matter of fact, I've always provided for women. Anytime I've been with a woman in my life, I've always provided, whether we were actually together or not actually together, whether we were partying, whatever. I've always provided. I've always paid for a woman. Like, that's just me. That's me. But I'm not getting pimped out. I'm not getting used. No. And any woman out there saying that they did this and that, no. Gotta relax. Because if we was doing a virtual fire station, it's right there across the street. On your right. Fire station. Are you going to fire station? Oh, for parking? This is exit only. It says do not enter. Yeah. Back to what we was talking about. Yeah, I've always provided for women. I've always taken care of my women. It ain't a woman that said that I didn't. You know what I mean? It ain't a woman that said that I didn't. Now, I've already proven myself to women multiple times. I don't have to keep proving myself. I'm not going to. I've already done amazing shit, you know, twice. I'm on my third leg. I'm waiting to get on my third and amazing and final amazing things to do in life. When people be like, "That's amazing," that type of thing. I'm on my third, but like I've already done enough to where for me that I've shown women that yeah, I'll provide for you, I love for you. I don't need to keep doing that, and so I'm not going to. I'm not chasing after no woman. I'm not running after her. I will show interest. I will pursue, but we're not chasing. You know what I mean? Because um, if a woman really like you, she really like you, and you don't have to chase after her. She's gonna prompt to talk back with you. She's gonna prompt to that show you that she's interested. You know what I mean? We're not chasing after nothing just so that you control and get the attention for yourself and embezzle attention. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of women want to do. They want to embezzle attention. You know what I mean? Because they have insecurities within themselves. But a lot of that can be solved when we get you a man, sweetheart. When we get you a husband, all that attention stuff, it's gonna go away. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna get all the attention you ever wanted. Now, after the attention, you're gonna be seeking prominence. You're gonna be seeking accomplishment, right? You're gonna want to accomplish things for yourself. A lot of women that are married, what I notice about women that are married is that they seek to have accomplishment. There's things that they wanted to do that they never did, and they try to do those things, or they do them later in life or whatever. Oh, it's 10:15. Let's go see if my stuff is ready. Um. Anyways, I hope this gets out to Anton Daniels. Um, and I hope this gets out to the people on his panel. You know what I mean? Especially those women. I agree with 2K and what he was saying. I wish I was on the panel, because me and 2K would have been we would have been 2-on-2 basketball in that joint, and we would have been slam dunking on motherfuckers. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, I just wanted to comment on that because I just didn't agree with what the women are doing, because that's what women are doing actually. They're trying to destroy men by just not procreating with them, right? If you don't do what they say, if you don't follow their orders, if you don't get pimped out by them, not only will they just leave you alone, they'll ghost you. They'll do all these types of things to, get rid of you. Anyways, I gotta go get my food. That's not my full thought, and I may be incorrect. Feel like I'm going in the right direction. Lifestyle here, child of God, peace. Koma, she's Japanese. Hey Koma, hey S Gaming.